that I upset you. I know I've been unkind. I want to but now
Hello?
Where have you been?
I wish that I loved
Just watching TV.
I didn't want to say anything, but we've been worried about you. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I miss theater,
Yeah, I get that. I miss it too.
Just wish there was something we could do.
Well, maybe there is something.
What'd you have in mind?
Hi, can you see me?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Cool.
So, why did we move to Zoom?
It's a new theater space.
Oh,
It's great, right?
I don't know. I don't really see it.
You're familiar with stage blocking, right?
Sure. I mean, you have stage left, stage right, the house, upstage, downstage, the fourth wall.
Great. What kind of perspective does the audience have?
Well, I guess it would depend on the kind of space you're working with.
Yeah, that's true. But let's stick with the typical proscenium stage. Based on this space, what kind of perspective does the audience have with the actors on stage?
Fixed, I guess. Unless the set itself moves around, the audience sees all the action from one point.
How is that so different from this? Unless one of us moves our webcam, we can only see each other through this fixed perspective. We can use the same blocking terms in our own spaces. You have downstage, you have upstage, you have stage left, you have stage right, and so on.
I guess that makes sense.
You don't sound too convinced.
Well, doesn't theater also deal with people all in one space?
Well, we can't all be in the same space.
I know
That's the
that's
problem.
not what I mean. With Zoom, we're not dealing with everyone in the same space. We're all in our own space, separated by squares. Wouldn't it be hard for the audience to look past that?
Well, that's where film editing comes in. In the early days of film, there was no real language filmmakers could reference to. This resulted in a bunch of films being made that reflected how theater staging went. This resulted in a style known as proscenium style.
Because the audience views the scene taking place from a fixed perspective.
Right. Eventually, filmmakers realized that you could film the same action from multiple angles and edit these separate shots together to create the illusion of continuous movement in a single space. D.W. Griffith usually gets credit for pioneering this technique, or at the very least perfecting it.
I think I get what you're saying. Because we can't be in the same space, we need to treat each Zoom square as if it's a different shot in the same scene.
That's one way to look at it.
There's something that's not adding up for me, though.
What's that?
You can't control what order the audience sees the Zoom squares, right?
Right? Yeah, that's something out of our control.
So how are we supposed to keep continuity if we can't control how the shots are arranged?
That certainly is a good point you bring up. Are you familiar with the Kuleshov effect?
Yes, but pretend I don't.
The Kuleshov effect, it's this phenomenon that originated with Soviet filmmaker Lev Kuleshov, where you take two shots that have nothing to do with each other and you cut them together. And because they're cut together, the audience will interpret these two images and create a meaning that would otherwise be lost without the context. This actor isn't portraying any kind of emotion, but because the shot of the actor is cut together with, say, a bowl of soup, the audience will interpret that shot of the actor as a look of hunger.
Okay, so say you're reading this rag as I monologue about how I don't have any sense of time since quarantine started. I just stare at the ceiling day in, day out. I perform monotonous tasks as the setting around me doesn't change. I can't differentiate Tuesday from Saturday. Time has lost all meaning to me. It's as if nothing exists except for what I can see outside my window. I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Do you ever think that time doesn't pass fast enough? Okay, so elliptical editing deals with how the audience perceives the passage of time. Say you want to show a scene where someone waits several hours for someone who never arrives. You wouldn't show a shot of a person waiting for several hours without cutting. So you can either cut or dissolve to the parts that are important to the audience.
Wait, so how would that work in a theatrical setting where things usually play out in real time?
It's quite simple, really. You see, you start with, and because the rest of the dialogue is omitted, you assume or you get the impression that a significant amount of time has passed.
Makes sense.
Fantastic. Are you ready to get back into some theater?
Well, there's something still not sitting with me, right?
What?
Isn't this all still technically video? We can stage this as strategically as we want, but at the end of the day, we're still dealing with people in front of cameras.
Well, let me ask you this. What about shows like Great Performances, or more recently, Hamilton on Disney+? Is that just film?
Well, no. At least I don't think so. I mean, yeah, we're dealing with cameras and close-ups and editing and all of that film language, but like the film tools are there to preserve what was created for the live performance.
Well, that's what this is in a way. The performance still happens in real time, but because we can't be in the same space, we need to use film editing language to create the illusion of one space.
But wait, you're Malachi and I'm Malachi.
Yes.
So how is this happening in real time?
This isn't real. This is just a framing device used to convey a complex idea into a more digestible format.
Oh. So how does this all end?
That's not up to me.